Good morning and welcome to Sports Central. Of course, it's a beautiful day to be back and lots of exciting stories. Not really exciting for lovers of tennis because Wimbledon is full of surprises and world number two, Cory Kokogov, had to fall in the line of victims who were top seeded in this particular competition. World number two, and yesterday she was ousted by someone who is ranked out of the top 50 in women's tennis rather. Also in the Club World Cup, we had Real Madrid doing giant stuff, knocking out Juventus, and the man Xabi Alonso looks really settled with that Real Madrid side. These and many more would form the crux of our conversation. We'll just take a quick breather, and when we're back, we'll take sport wrap up. All would start from table tennis, where Nigeria's top table tennis star, Quadri Aruna, dropped one place in the latest International Table Tennis Federation World Ranking as fellow compatriots Fatima Bello recorded a modest climb in the women's category. In the ITTF Week's 27 rankings published on Tuesday, which was yesterday, Aruna fell from 23rd to 24th in the world despite maintaining his total of 1,140 points. The 36-year-old, who did not participate in any events during the review week, was overtaken due to point movement by other players. His current position is based on cumulative points from past performances, most notably his run-up finish at the 2025 ITTF African Cup in Tunis, which earned him 350 points, and a semi-final showing at the WTT Star Contender Doha earlier this year, which added 210 points. Well, Aruna saw a drop. Nigeria's Fatima Bello offered a bright spark on the women's side, moving up 4 places to rank 92nd in the world with 230 points. Now, on two athletics on the home scene, the Nigerian selection trials for the upcoming African Under 18 and Under 20 Athletics Championships concluded on Tuesday in Shagamu, Ogun State, with several young athletes delivering standout performances in their quest to represent the nation at the continental event. Amongst the highlights on day one was the boys under 1800 meters finals, where Destiny Egbo lived up to his name by clinching victory in 11.9 seconds. In the girls on the 1800 meters, Miracle Oluebube Ezechuku stormed to gold with a time of 12 seconds. Coach Lekon Soitan, a newly elected board member of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, commended the young athletes' efforts and expressed optimism about Nigeria's medal prospect at the continental meet. He added that the projected Nigerian team of approximately 90 athletes is expected to perform strongly at the African Under 18 and Under 20 Championships scheduled to hold from July 16 to 20th of 2025 at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta, Ogun State. The event would welcome athletes from over 50 countries across the continent of Africa. On to tennis, where a stunning Tuesday of upset at Wimbledon ended with the highest seed to fall so far as number 2 seed and reigning French Open champion Cory Kokogov was eliminated in the first round in a late evening affair under a close roof on number 1 court. World number 42 Diana Yastremska of Ukraine toppled world number 2 Goff of the United States 7-6, 6-1 in 1 hour and 19 minutes. Yastremska executed some of her best tennis to earn her second career win over a top 2 player and her first since she beat then number 2 Karolina Pliskova at 2019 in Wuhan. Kodikokov was the third top 5 seed to be upset on Tuesday, following surprise losses by number 3 seed Jessica Pegula and number 5 seed Zhang Qinwen earlier in the day. Gov won her second Grand Slam singles title at Roland Garros last month, but has gone 0 wins and 2 losses since then. Up to the ATP scene, third-seeded Alexander Zverev lost to 72nd ranked Arthur Rinderknech 7-6, 6-7, 6-3, 6-7, 6-4 in the first round at Wimbledon on Tuesday in a match that was suspended overnight. It was Zverev's earliest exit at a Grand Slam tournament since 2019, also at the All England club. Rinderknech, a 29-year-old Frenchman, had only one other career victory at Wimbledon. That was last year. In the build-up to the tournament, Rinderknech reached the quarterfinals at Queen's Club, where he beat Bernd Shelton and Riley Opelka. Zverev has reached the fourth round at Wimbledon 3 times, including last year, but never beyond that point. He lost to Taylor Fritz in 5 sets a year ago. Now to football, where Real Madrid hit their stride at the Club World Cup just yesterday, urging Juventus 1-0 to reach the quarterfinals thanks to a second-half strike from academy graduate Gonzalo Garcia as Kylian Mbappe made his tournament debut. Garcia deputizing for Mbappe after the France forward missed the group stage due to gastroenteritis, found the back of the net early in the second half to set up a meeting with Borussia Dortmund. Juventus had earlier chances, but gradually faded under the relentless pressing of Xabi Alonso's side and had goalkeeper Michel Di Gregorio to thank for sparing them a heavier defeat. After a lackluster group phase, Real Madrid, playing in Xabi Alonso's favored 3-4-3 formation, showed glimpses of what they could be capable of under the new coach. Well, these are all we have for you on Sport Wrap Up this morning. But not to worry, we'll take a quick break, and when we're back, the guys will join the conversation as we delve into the nitty gritty of what really happened in sports over yesterday. Stick around.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governments are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Risk on your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
The depth of knowledge, fun, and entertainment you experience on Spectrum Television can never be overstated, especially when you get them all at once. At Spectrum Television, we start your day with insightful political and social discussion, a spotlight on Africa and the world's view. On well-being, we prioritize your health and mental space, staying fit and achieving goals. Stay updated with the business world, financial markets, and global economic analysis. We bring you all the latest from the world of sports and cutting-edge innovations, looking at the future of tech on Tech Insight. And stay updated with the latest in entertainment and music on Entertainment Now. Our carefully crafted content is designed to broaden your horizons and keep you informed and entertained. You won't want to miss a minute. Killer, shower you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions. Watch Spectrum Television live on free to air. Scan your decoder to continue receiving the best of our signals or stream live at www.spectrumtvlive.ng. For more inquiries, call 0704 158 5642. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
An excellent morning to return and talk about the latest developments in the world of sports this morning. And just like you heard from Fun, it is Sports Central brought to you live and exclusive to Spectrum Television. And I am Utabe David, standing in for the leader of the side. Talk about Vlad Lukemo, who's unavoidably absent. Well, a whole lot of conversations in the world of sports in general to talk about this morning, ranging from the world of tennis, where the Wimbledon a major grass court Grand Slam event is currently up and running. Top seeded players are exiting the competition at the early stages, and it begs questions as regards what's happening, especially in this particular level of a competition. We'll also take a look at some other events that's taking place in the world of sports. Football will also form the crux of our discussion. As we saw the last 16 game, of course, yesterday, Real Madrid were in action, as well as Borussia Dortmund also being in action. All of these were definitely brought to you. On Fun, good morning to you. We're back at it once again.
Definitely exciting day to be back. The Wimbledon just keeps serving us surprises left, right, center. It's almost looking as if we're going to see maybe a brand new winner of a Wimbledon because Tottenham's crashing out yesterday. World number two, Corey Kokogov, had to crash out just after winning the Roland Garros a few weeks back. Well, let's see what it serves us at the end of it.
Well, seeing what it serves us at the end of the week, we begin the conversation from the WTA category, still talking about the Wimbledon, where Cucciaretto is her name, getting past Jessica Pegula, and it continues to be an evolving conversation. Her name is Elisabetta Cucciaretto. I could recall the last time she played this particular competition, the grass court competition. She had to withdraw at some point due to pneumonia. She had to withdraw from the competition, but she started off this particular Wimbledon in fine fashion, getting the better of the Italian. Talk about Jessica Pegula. Pegula, off the back of that victory, the last WTA competition she partook, talk about the Bad Hamburg Open, another grass court event. She won that particular competition. So off the back to the Wimbledon, many were thinking it might definitely be the same case for her, rolling on that level of confidence, but it never and it wasn't to be. She was defeated yesterday. Jessica Pegula on Fun another major upset in here. She has bowed out of the competition. And of course, I do not know where it ends for here or from here, particularly for Jessica Pejula, but another massive, massive exit for a top seeded player.
Well, number three doesn't get bigger than that. For Jessica Pejula, I feel she's had, just like we talked about this morning, I feel it's a case of maybe burnout because when you look at this players, like someone like Jessica Pejula, she's won 3 titles already this year and she's participated in a lot. I doubt she's missed up to 3 competitions this year already. So it shows that she's always been participating in every tournament that comes up. And maybe it's just about burnout. And for Lady Elizabeth Koshirato, she had to take advantage of the situation, and grab the bulls by the horn. Didn't even have to take up to 1 hour. In 58 minutes, she was done with this particular, game and defeated Jessica Pejula. Let's just see what happens because right now, I think the pressure is going to be on a lot of all these teams who are defeating top names because right now every attention is on you. When you defeat a top name, your name gets to be in the limelight. Just like now, we all know about Elizabeth Koshirato now. Her biggest, win. You want to look at her past glory. It's not going to be that huge. But right now, she's defeated a world number 2 in the Wimbledon opener. So I think it's a sign of more things to come. Now, top names are always going to be more uptight when they get to face unknown names right now in this competition because they'll see what's happening. Lots of upsets are happening right now. So I'm sure they're going to put in more, effort. So maybe just at the end of it, we might see the making of a new star in the 2025 Wimbledon.
Well, Pejula fell short in the first round of the competition, Grand Slam opener. This is actually happening the first time since she lost the Roland Garros first round game against current world number 1. Talk about Arina Zabalenka. That happened in 2020. And this is another massive upset for the lady. Still talking about top seeded players being knocked out of competition. Katerina Sinakova, of course, handed number 5 seed player Zheng Qiwen. Talk about the lady who won the, of course, Olympics last year in Paris. She has also exited the competition, and it continues to be another evolving conversation right here. Cory Kokogov, another name that has also exited. But let's look at, of course, Zheng Qiwen, and of course, okay, let's first of all talk about Zheng Qiwen. This particular early exit. What lady was also, of course, in some fine run of form, although not also culminating in winning titles, but she was always there in the forefront, advancing to quarterfinals of competitions, advancing to the last 16. But unfortunately, she's also been part of that particular name, a top seeded player, as a matter of fact, also exiting this competition. Another huge exit rank here.
Well, definitely, just like we've talked about, Zenki Wen is the next casualty on that list. For Lady Siniakova, she beat at a time and then she got this particular victory. I think for Zenki Wen, it's just about, she's not really been that, in fine form this particular season. When we talk about Zenki Wen, her best year was the Olympic year where she went on to win that Paris Olympic. After that, she's not really been Zenki Wen we used to know, just winning a few tour level competitions and always staying in the top 5 of the women's ranking. But I think right now it's just going to be back to the basics for Zheng Qiwen because she has to do more. Wimbledon is not the end of. We still have more Grand Slams to come up this particular year. So maybe go back to the drawing board, see how you can especially rest up for these top names because I feel it's just a match. Just like we complain about in other sports, we need rest for most of these players. Most competitions coming, at the brink of 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after, and all of that. So at the end of it, when you put it together, there's a lot of burnout on the sides of these players, especially the top ones who always want to compete to protect their ranking points. So for Zenki, when I feel she needs rest and maybe should come back to full force.
Well, rest is what's Infonitina is actually, yes, marrying at the moment and also ensuring that the athletes get enough rest as possible. Talking about the Wimbledon, yes, Diana Yastremska got the better of Cory Kokogov, another US international who has quite been massive in the last few competition. But let's quickly move away from that now and take a look at the men's category because Alexander Zverev is another top name. The German international has been booted out of this particular competition. And this comes off the back of so many expectations. Was the highest seeded player to fall on the opening day of the competition. German lost yesterday in 5 sets to heavy hitting Frenchman Arthur Rindadzic, who did not drop serve for the entirety of the match to secure the biggest career win in the ATP ranking. So Arthur Rindadzic got the better of Alexander Zverev This year's Wimbledon has featured a straggling wealth of early exits. We're talking about 13 seeded players already exiting the competition. Just a quick rundown of some of the top names who have exited before we take a look at Zverev's case at the moment. 7th seed Lorenzo Musetti have been knocked out of the competition, lost yesterday, falling to Nicolas Basavilli. Talk about 8th seed player Hojurun also was defeated yesterday. And 9th seed Daniel Medvedev have also exited. Both Hojurun and Daniel Medvedev, we talked about them yesterday. They were exited the competition yesterday, and they are among also the top 10 seeded players to have exited. Rounding out the seeded players in this early stage of a competition who also lost were Francisco Conondolo, the 16th seeded player, and 18th seed Hugo Humbert, 20th seed Alesi Poperin, and of course 24th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas, the likes of Denis Shapovalov, and 28th seed Alexander Bublik, as well as 30th seed Alex Michelsen also exiting, as well as 31st seed Talon Grigspor and 32nd seed Matteo Berrettini, who reached the final of the Grass Court Major in 2021. So those are the early exits, more of them being found in the men's category for now. And it looks like it might just definitely be that competition where we're going to see the man, what's his name now? Carlos Zakarax and Yannick Sinner maybe go straight to the end. These are top seeded players, and these are the names who could have potentially given, of course, the likes of Carlos Zakarax and Yannick Sinner a good run in the build up to the finals. But now they have exited. It looks like the streets now are open for these top names to do giant strides once again.
I would say even Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner are not.
Yeah, they struggled in their first round.
Especially Carlos Alcaraz.
Absolutely.
Had to really dig deep to get the victory in his first round in the Wimbledon. So I would say it's also going to be a sit-up to most of these top names now. You know that these other unknown names who are coming to the tournament are not just coming to maybe just roll over for you to get the victory. So for the big names, Carlos Alcaraz, we expected maybe likes of Holger-Rune, Alexander Zverev, and all of that to compete against them. But if at the end of this competition we have Carlos Alcaraz against Yannick Sinner final, I think it's even going to be better for the organizers of the tournament because a final cannot get as big as Yannick Sinner against Carlos Alcaraz. Those are the two top players of this generation. So it's always going to be a battle against both of them. In fact, coincidentally, they are both world number 1 and world number 2 at this point. So it shows that they are the two best players in tennis currently.
Well, two best players in tennis, Novak Djokovic, former world number 1, find a way of winning. And of course, that's the conversation. Congratulations to the winners. Unfortunately, the losers have to try it again, maybe the next Grand Slam, or maybe, of course, in the Wimbledon by this time next year. But let's quickly move away from the conversation around the Wimbledon and take a look at what's happening in the table tennis category. Well, usually when we talk about table tennis, as it has to do with Nigeria, of course, what comes to mind first is Aruna Quadri, and then other players also follow suit. The biggest name on the continent of Africa, as it has to do with table tennis. Well, according to confirmations by the ITTF, the latest rankings have actually showed that the man, talk about Aruna Quadri, has dropped in the latest ranking of the ITTF as released just yesterday. The ITTF Week 27 rankings that was published saw Aruna Quadri falling from world number 23rd to world number 24th in the world, despite maintaining his total of 1,140 points. While compatriots talk about Fatima Bello recorded a modest climb in the women's category, also moving upward is the conversation right here. The lady has 230 points as she moved 4 places to ranked number 92 in the ITTF rankings. One fun, this further shows his lack of competitiveness, especially in the week that this particular review was also taken. But in as much as we're talking about experience and quality for the man Aruna Quadri, one cannot rule out the fact that he's running out, age also being a huge factor here. Can we actually take this to heart, owing to the fact that she's dropped 1 spot and maybe look at the next ITTF rankings?
Well, I would say 1 spot is not that bad for Aruna Quadri. He can always regain that 1 spot. 23rd to 24th is not that bad, and it's only because the particular person who overtook the man now participated in the competition this last week on the review. So it shows that Aruna Quadri could always get into more competitions and then win and get his points back. So at the end of it, I'm just concerned about the female category because for Bello, now you see her 92nd in the world.
Absolutely.
That's a way like 91 people ahead of you. So not really something to write home about. But for Aruna Quadri, 24th is not bad. So it shows that the man is amongst the top 30 table tennis players in the world. If this was normal tennis, we would have talking about world number 23. That's a good thing. So I would say for the women, we need more women to step up. Hopefully, Fatima Bello gets to do that in the coming years, because being world number 92 can only set you far, and then you have to re-strategize and get yourself to play better tennis, get into more competitions, and win your competitions to get as high as maybe world number 30, world number 22. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to see in the coming days. But for what I was very happy to see was the likes of Shin Kuti. Chen Kuti or
A
Femi Kuti
youngster.
wasn't, yeah, he's also moved high a bit, what number 100 or something thereabout. So I think it's good news for Nigerians. We're gradually getting to see more Nigerians come up, and not just Aruna Quadri. Maybe before the man Aruna Quadri gets to call it a day on his career, would have more Nigerians also trying to gather up in the ITTF rankings.
Well, the conversation has always been when next for Nigeria after Rona Quadri finally retires. Yes, he's still in the game, but what happens if he decides to step aside? Well, we're also looking at transition, unearthing young talent, and also ensuring quicker integration so that we can actually have another player we can call the next Aruna Quadri of Nigeria, and of course, posing major threats and stiff competitions with other African contingent whenever they go to continental assignment or even international assignment as well. But it looks like the future is bright for Kuti, especially in that category where he's at the moment. Well, we take a very short break from here. When we return, we'll talk about football stories all across the globe, with the FIFA Club World Cup still forming the crux of our discussion. Transfer stories is also not an exception. We'll talk about all of these after the short break. Do stay with us. Well, welcome back from that short break. It is still Sports Central right here, brought to you live and exclusive to Spectrum Television. No substitution whatsoever. And now we'll be talking about football development, starting from here in the country, and then we'll take it forward to the European scene. Well, as regards the country, it is about the NFF president, Alhaji Ibrahim, of course, Gusu, who has also assumed office as the head of West African Football Union, that's WAFU Zone B. While the formal handover ceremony, according to confirmations, was actually held on Monday at the WAFU headquarters located in Cote d'Ivoire. And the man takes over the leadership of the regional, football body, following the elevation of the previous, chairman. Talk about Mr. Kut Edwin, president of Ghana Football Association, to the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee. So now, Ibrahim Gus has been saddled with the responsibility of overseeing West African Football Union. The man is expected to lead efforts to strengthen regional collaboration and development across the seven-nation Zone B, which includes the likes of Nigeria, includes the likes of Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin Republic, Togo, Niger Republic, and Burkina Faso. Collaboration for strengthening development across seven nations that has to do with the WAFU Zone B leadership. The man is here. Can we actually, of course, expect yes, effective representation, leadership, and also ensure all of these meted out can be achieved under his watch?
Well, definitely added responsibility for the man Ibrahim Gusau, now currently NFF president, and now he has an added responsibility, which is the Waffle Zone B
Yeah.
leadership. So, and now he has more responsibilities on his level. I'd say no one wants to ask for more responsibility. So when it's asked of you to do that, it's not always maybe a good thing to do. But at the end of it, Gusau has to get the two jobs on the line, because right now he has to look at activities of the NFF and also for Waffle Zone. I would say a good opportunities for him to get himself out there, because we remember the likes of the former NFF president, always there when you're talking about leadership in Africa. He's always top there on the list. So now is Ibrahim Gusau's turn, and let's see how well he would fare on the continent of Africa, and also put an end to the fact that Nigerians are mostly corrupt. If he can go there, finish his tenure as a Wafu Zone B president without any blemish on his name. I think it's going to be such a good thing for Nigerians.
Well, talking about, of course, recent conversation about Nigerian ex-footballers or even administrative, experts in football administration. Well, the last NFF president was rightly mentioned by Fon Maju Melvin Pinnick, who was also among the CAF Executive Committee, all through his entire duration as one of the members of CAF Council. Didn't really, according to many Nigerians, didn't really bring so much development to the country. So many Nigerians are expecting that this would actually take a different turn, and Ibrahim Gusu would actually show effective leadership and also bring developmental phase and process to Nigeria and West African zone as well. But let's quickly move away from that conversation and take a look at what's happening on the continent of Africa, where we hear that CAF has set to announce a new Chan Host 2026. And of course, that would definitely take place at the 2025 awards, of course, at night. We also hear that the 2025 awards venue is also yet to be confirmed. The last two editions was held in Rabat, Morocco. We may actually see a different, location in the 2025 awards night. That would be confirmed by CAF. No date has been fixed for that particular one. Don't forget that the Chan, yes, a competition 2024 is set to be hosted by Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. Those are the three hosts of that particular competition. So the next edition, we're yet to know which country will host the event. But of course, it is an evolving conversation. We'll have a fixed date, but also let you know as well. But let's quickly move away from that now and talk about another development before we go straight to the European phase. It has to do with former Olympics, of course, manager, particularly right in the shores of a country. I talk about Samson Siasia. The man has been talking in recent times about what happened at the Olympics. The under 23 national team back then, the 2000 Olympics. Well, if you could actually follow, or if you've been following the story, first of all, it was all about Mikel Obi, who, of course, came out to confirm that the flight that took the under 23 national team to Beijing back then for the Olympic Games, that he was the one who paid the flight money. But Samson Siasia, a few days after, came out, debunked the rumors, and said he never did that. That the only thing Mikelobi did was definitely to pay for the hotel bills. Well, just a few weeks after then, the man Samson Siasia has also come out to allege that Mikelobi's agent offered him $50,000 to play at the Beijing Olympics. Why this is actually sparking conversations is the build up to the recent allegation between Samson Sias and Mikel. And now this latest report have it that the man, according to Samson Siasia, did not play in that particular Olympics qualifiers, citing reasons that he's playing for a big club as big as Chelsea and didn't have time to come back and play. Now, immediately after Nigeria, the 23 national team qualified for the 2008 Olympic Games that was built and played in Beijing. According to Samson Siasia, Mikel Obi's agent came to, of course, got in contact with him rather, and decided to offer him $50,000 just for Mikel Obi to play in that particular Olympic Games. And he said no, he can never accept that. He would definitely stick with players who played during the qualifiers phases. And all of these revelations coming out to the build-up of the allegations of Mikel Obi are paying for flight tickets. But it is not about, of course, a case of who's right here or who is wrong, or who's right or who's wrong. It is a case of how things have been unfolding, especially when it has to do with football right in the shores of a country. What does it paint? What picture does it paint now for people who have been clamoring for massive development in the shores of a country? Recall in recent times, there have been cases of, match fixing allegations, cases of bribery and corruption, just like Simpson Sasia was banned for such case. In recent times, there have also been cases of, NFF members allegedly forcing players and managers of the national team. But what does this speak? What picture does it paint on football development right in Nigeria?
Well, first of all, I would say that this is a really, really difficult situation now. And for Samson Sias, I don't even know what gives him the audacity or the temerity to come out with such statement, because he's also indicting himself. When you see a player offered you $50,000 to play at the Beijing Olympics, I think that's really ridiculous because, first off, just like he said, Mikel was paying for a top team. So I don't think playing at the Olympics did him any good. And according to what he said, he paid for the flight ticket, paid for hotel bills and all of that. So why would a player like Mikel have to beg to do that for the team? So I would say there are a lot of shady things behind that. Just like you mentioned, it also paints Nigerian football in a bad light. Recently, we were talking about our league, trying to see how we can get our league to compete with the very best leagues in Africa. But you cannot really have that when things like this are happening, because it's not just at the national team level, it's also at the club level. Because in the Nigerian professional football league, you have teams having to pay referees and all of that. We have cases of match fixing. We have cases of violence to match officials on the match day. So at the end of it, I'll just say it keeps setting us backwards. We tend to take 5 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. So that's the case of Nigerian football at the moment. I just hope that we can have um, a situation where all this is put behind us, because if you look at other leagues, other countries, especially in the European part of the world, I feel they're doing better. They've moved ahead from these particular corruption deals and all of that. So I'm just happy that this is a case of 2012. So it's not recent. So whatever happened in 2012, I would just hope that it stays in 2012. We should not bring it back to this is 2025. We shouldn't be talking about something that happened in 2012. Let's just try to move forward, and hopefully we do not have more cases of things like this.
Well, of course, still an evolving conversation. What it paints Nigerian football, the developmental phase. It was the under 23, basically. So it wasn't the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It was the under 23 at the time. So if a coach or an agent pays or offers $50,000 just for a player to be included at the national team level for a major international competition, it begs question about the quality of selection we have ahead of major international tournaments right here in the shores of a country. But of course, let's move away from that conversation and take a look at what's happening on the international scene. It has to do with the FIFA Club World Cup, where we saw two matches across two different centers yesterday. First, it started off with Real Madrid getting the best of Juventus, a courtesy of Gonzalo Garcia scoring in the 54th minute. And due to that particular scoreline, Real Madrid have officially qualified to the quarterfinals of the FIFA Club World Cup. The match also saw Kylian Mbappe made an appearance after, of course, missing out of action for sometimes due to injury. The man came off the bench in that particular game. Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, was the assist maker for the man Gonzalo Garcia to get that goal for Real Madrid. Well, for the youngsters beginning to send tongues wagging and also making many Real Madrid supporters notice his name at the moment. Gonzalo Garcia is his name.
Well, comparisons to Raul and not off the pitch, if you look at what the man has been able to do, 4 goal contribution in 4 matches, 3 goals and 1 assist, it shows you that the man has been important for Real Madrid in this particular competition. I feel he's one reason why Real Madrid have not gone for a striker, because at the point Real Madrid were being touted to go for a striker in this particular transfer window, but all talks about that has cooled off because Gonzalo Garcia has really hit the ground running, and also the half Endrick also was just joined the side from the Beijing Spain. So right now, I would say another player who stood out on the night for me was the man Trent Alexander-Arnold. A very good assist that had everyone talking about it, and this is what he used to do at Liverpool, and it's even going to be more, functioning for Real Madrid. Yesterday, they featured in that 3-4-3 formation for the very first time on the Xabi Alonso, and it gave Trent Alexander-Arnold that freedom going forward. I feel Real Madrid are gradually getting into the Xabi Alonso era, and we're just going to see them getting better. I don't see them getting worse than this. Juventus yesterday was a big team, and he utterly dominated Juventus. Even not for the goalkeeper, Mikel Gregory, I think it would have been a much larger scoreline. So maybe Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid are finally, getting to be very compatible, and we're going to see more victories going forward.
Well, Borussia Dortmund also played yesterday, courtesy of the man Seo Girassi, the striker of Borussia Dortmund. The Yellow Wolves, as they're fondly called, got the better of Monterrey 2-1. The man scored in the 14th minute and scored again in the 24th minute of the encounter. Monterrey scored in the 48th minute, courtesy of German Bentarman in the 48th minute, and that was just, of course, trying to resuscitate the spirits of Monterrey and also up the momentum of the game. But Borussia Dortmund hanged in and ensured they got victory at the end. So up next now, it will definitely be Borussia Dortmund taking out Real Madrid. While many were anticipating a reunion between Jude Bellingham, the junior brother of Jude Bellingham, but due to cumulative yellow cards, Jude Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund will be facing the encounter against, of course, Real Madrid, where his senior brother Jude Bellingham is playing. Well, a huge cracker to look forward to in fun.
Oh, definitely for Borussia Dortmund. I think they've been in good form since Niko Kovac took over late last season. Had to win 97% of their remaining games to get them to qualify for the Champions League, and now they're in the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. Shows how better the team has become in recent times. And this particular fixture against Real Madrid has been it's almost been a recurring decima by now because when they look at it, the Champions League final 2 years ago, we had Real Madrid Dortmund. Last year, we had Real Madrid against Dortmund again. I think it was in the group, the league phase of it. So I would say this is becoming more like a recurring matchup now. And I just feel like maybe Borussia Dortmund will be more ready for Real Madrid this particular time. I'm who's to tell. Xabi Alonso and the boys look very good in recent form for them. So might just be maybe a difficult game for Borussia Dortmund. But I say they are playing really well.
Well, they are playing really well. Borussia Dortmund found themselves into the quarterfinals of the FIFA Club World Cup. And many are also saying maybe it can only get better from here. Well, let's quickly look at the world of transfers shortly. And of course, we start the conversation from Bournemouth, where the conversation is about the fact that Antoine Semenyo, the Ghanaian international, finally put pen to paper to extend his time at that particular football club, fondly known as the Cherries. Of course, Antoine Semenyo, we hear the man has signed a 5-year contract, keeping him at the Vitality Stadium until 2030. But at some points, there were conversations that Manchester United were tracking the man's progress. Tottenham Hotspurs were also interested, but he has chosen to stay at the football club to 2030. While he had 37 appearances as Bournemouth finished ninth to narrowly missed out on European football. He scored 11 times in the process. And that's the conversation. Well, Von der Zevin consolidating on his fine performance we've seen in recent times.
Well, considering that Bournemouth has lost a lot of players already, the man Dean Hodgson has gone to Real Madrid. Ilya Zibani might just be going to Paris Saint-Germain.
Milos Kerkez.
Exactly, to Liverpool. So it shows that they really need to start putting pen to paper for some of their top names because when you start losing names like that, it might just be difficult for you the coming season. So for Bournemouth, I think step in the right direction. But Antoine Semenyo, I feel he would have preferred to go to a top club because Tottenham Hotspurs and Manchester United are both bigger clubs than Bournemouth at this moment. But not too bad to stay put at the club. Maybe gets to perform in that same way he did last season. At the end, a club could come calling for him with a huge amount of money.
Huge amount of money. Well, Bayern Munich tabled a huge amount of money to Liverpool for the acquisition of Luis Diaz. Well, guess what? Liverpool have rejected that particular offer and have once again reiterated the fact that Luis Diaz is not for sale. The Colombian international was quite a key figure for Liverpool all through the entire duration of last season in that particular bid of winning the English Premier League, where they are current champions. But now the man has actually sparked interest from several top clubs in Europe. Barcelona came calling at first, now Bayern Munich, but Liverpool have knocked back that offer, saying this man is not for sale.
Well, I don't know why Bayern Munich are looking at Barcelona options because first of all, they went for Nico Williams, now they've gone for Luis Diaz. Both players have been touted by Barcelona. Maybe next they'll go for Marcus Rashford, hopefully.
Yeah, the man is actually the next at the moment,
exactly.
according to reports.
Exactly. So for Bayern Munich right now, I just feel they need a replacement for Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané has left the side, and they do not have a replacement in case of Kingsley Coman getting injured because Coman is always getting injured every season. You cannot trust Kingsley Coman and Serge Gnabry and maybe Michael Olise as your first choice wingers. You need to have someone there. So definitely Bayern Munich need to sign a winger this particular transfer window.
But Arne Slot and the boys are saying nowhere. We are not going anywhere. He has to stay at Anfield and play more regular football the way he's done over time. Well, we hear that Bayern Munich are also looking at Marcus Rashford as an alternative, just like what men mentioned of, in case they are not able to sign Luis Diaz, which I've already told you that deal rather have been knocked back. They do not want to sell Luis Diaz at the moment. So Rashford could be an alternative for this side. Well, we hear that Canada's Jonathan David, the striker who played for Lille last season, yes, has officially joined Juventus. He signed for Juventus. His contract expired with Lille over of course, end of last season, and he was a free agent. But we hear he has officially joined the old ladies, and of course, looking forward to play more regular game time with the Italian side. Well, away from that now, just yesterday, Arsenal officially unveiled Kepa Arrizabalaga as the goalkeeper of the side, joining from Chelsea in a deal that is up to 5 million euros. Maybe a second choice goalkeeper to the man, David Ryan.
Definitely going to be second choice because David Raya took over from Ben Leno, and since then he hasn't looked back. So at this point, I don't see Kepa Balaga, getting to displace the man as the number one for Arsenal because I would have preferred the man staying put and burn him off because he was doing quite well there. Almost took them to European football this year. So who's to tell that they wouldn't have done that the next season? But congratulations to him. Hopefully he gets to enjoy his stay at Arsenal.
Congratulations, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Another huge challenge now. Maybe could also be a major contender from that for that number one spot. Of course, slugging it out with David Reyes, regards, who stays in between the sticks, but still in London. Just a short move from West London to the North London Football Club. Let's quickly still talk about transfers. Over here that Ansu Fati have joined Monaco officially. Well, he actually moved from Barcelona to Monaco after, of course, signing a new deal with Barcelona, according to reports we hear. He has signed a new deal with Barcelona and then joins Monaco on a loan term basis. We hear there is an obligation to buy the man from Barcelona if he performs better in the French Ligue 1 club. He's not just the only one who's been signed by Monaco this particular summer. Paul Pogba has officially been signed by Monaco. Eric Dyer has also officially been signed by Monaco. Born in Guinea, Bissau, plays for Spain. That's the conversation. We're looking forward to see him resuscitate his career. So many Johnny. At some point, he's been called a Johnny man. But now, Monaco could also be a hunting ground to seek stability.
Well, before Lamine Yamal, Ansu Fati was so. He was a star boy of Barcelona. Even got the number 10 jersey
Absolutely.
after Messi left the side. So let's just see if he can resuscitate his career because that's going to be good news. I don't like seeing downfall of players, especially very young ones. I just want to see if he can go forward to resuscitate his career. But the French league on, some say it's easier than the Spanish league and the English league because remember he joined Brighton on loan last season, couldn't really make it. So maybe he's going to be able to do it at Monaco.
Well, we also hear that Everton target Tete plays for Fulham. He's a right back. He has signed a new deal to stay at Fulham, gone past at the end of next season, according to reports. We also hear Arsenal are exploring options of getting Noni Madueke to the side before the start of next season. Maybe they've got chemistry with their fellow London rivals, Chelsea. In recent times, we've actually seen players moving from Chelsea to Arsenal. The last one was Raheem Sterling. In that exchange we saw right there last season. But we draw the curtains here on Sports Central this morning. Thank you very much to you watching. Definitely come your way tomorrow, same time on the station. Thank you very much for being a part of the conversation.
A pleasure to be here.
We hope Blyden Kim returns, who's unavoidably absent today. Together we'll do justice to every sports conversation making rounds in the world of sports by tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you later tomorrow.